Welcome to Renewed Radiance Yoga with Tami. I'm Tami, and I'm so excited to come to you today to talk a little bit about the Yoga Sutras with Patanjali. And we want to really focus today on book one. So what a Yoga Sutra is it's the yoga rules. What portion one is talking about is contemplation. So it's deep and it's juicy, and we're going to relate it to perimenopause and menopause. So if you are as excited about hearing about this topic as I am to share it with you, please go get you some coffee, some tea, get your comfy clothes on, and meet me right back here. Welcome back. I'm so excited for you. You've already explored Sutra 1. You are accepting the invitation to actually go a little bit deeper and finding out what yoga is rather than just philosophizing about it. So I'm so excited for you. The journey is just beginning. And yoga really means yoke or to join. So what are we yoking and what are we joining? We are working to join ourselves with our higher power. For you, that may be God, that may be spirit, that may be the divine. Whatever it is that your higher calling is, you want to work in this lifetime to join yourself with that. And so to do that, we have to massage and change our ways of thinking. So this sutra really revolves heavily around your mind. And so we'll learn a little bit about your mind. We'll learn a little bit about how your mind can distort reality. So it's really going to be good. I'll be honest with you. Some of these ideas, they really kind of hit home a lot when I'm talking through my menopausal symptoms. Because this is a practice, it is something that I want you to take in baby bites. And it's something that you want to do every single day. When I'm in my classes, I talk about training our brain. And so many times we have these deep ridges in our brains where it has trained itself and we can go on autopilot so many times. So the biggest concept is we want to look for peace. We're not looking for pain. We're not looking for pleasure. We're looking for peace. And as a woman in my 50s, peace really is probably a word that I would have said many times before I started really digging into the sutras. So I think we're at that time spot of our lives where this could really resonate and help. The next concept that was a little bit more difficult for me was the concept of being selfish and selfless. I translated those words for myself into conditional love and unconditional love. And whatever works best for your palate, use those words. If selfish is the word that you want to go with, when it comes to being selfish, you want to be selfish for your peace. So many times, especially as moms, wives, workers, daughters, all the things, we are working so hard and we continue to say, well, I'm doing for my kids and I'm doing for my elderly parents and I'm this and I'm that and I'm blah, blah, blah. And why don't they appreciate me? And why don't they love me back? And they forgot Mother's Day or whatever the words are that are being said in your head. And what we have to remember is in the world of yoga, if we are going to do for somebody, we have to do without expectation. And that's what makes it selfless. And that is what it makes it unconditional. Maybe we don't necessarily have the biggest grasp on it. I would definitely say that giving unconditional love is something we crave. And for us to receive unconditional love, we must learn how to give it. Digging into these sutras is that when you give, you have to assume you'll never get it back, no matter what it is you're giving. If it's your socks, if it's your sweater, if it's your hanky, or if it's your love. And that's where you find peace. Again, a lot of people do a lot of public charity, and they're not doing it selflessly. They're doing it for the accolades. They're doing it for the recognition. So take some time to kind of massage through your life and think about maybe what areas you're giving with excess expectation of a return. And that'll start working you through your journey into yoga. So as we're talking about this conditional and unconditional love, the main culprit that stands in our way is our mind. I have followed an astrologer named Christopher Witecki for a very long time. He runs a program called Serious Joy. He really wrapped this up in a way that is a nice little bow that, you know, us middle-aged women can really absorb it in a fun way. Is he likes to call our mind a dumbass and our ego a smartass. And so this next section is really going to talk about those components of our mind. Put that in perspective, our mind basically is like a computer. Whatever we put in is what we get out. So if you put corrupt data in, corrupt data is going to come out. The three levels that Patanjali has called the mind are the manas, which is where the desire comes in. That's where when we see that yummy pizza over in the corner, it gets our attention. Or we see the cute little puppy over there, it grabs our attention. That's our manas. And then the buddha is the part of the brain that analyzes what that furry thing is over there that we see. That is, oh yeah, that is cute. And oh, look how cuddly, or that pizza really smells good. Or I believe that's a pizza. And then we have our ahamkara, which is our ego. And again, that's our smartass. That's the part of our brain that gets us going. Oh, there's a pizza over there. Do I want it? Do I not want it? Oh, I want it. I got to have it. Da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, especially if you're on a diet, what do you think about for the rest of the day? The pizza, the pizza, the pizza, the pizza, and you have no peace. If your mind is telling you over and over and over to eat the pizza, take a small sliver, satisfy your mind, satisfy the ahamkara, and eat a small piece of pizza. Because otherwise, you're robbing yourself of your peace because your mind thinks of nothing but the pizza. So those are the three components of the mind. And then we have something called the Citta Vritta, the modification of the mind. So you've got your mind working in these three categories, and then you have 5 ways to distort what those 3 areas of your mind are processing. So yeah, it gets a little complicated, and then you put all your menopausal thoughts on top of it. And as women in menopause, you know, we've lived a lot of life. And so we can modify our minds very easily. And so as I go through these 5, really think about where in your life you can easily make these modifications, maybe on purpose, maybe on accident, maybe out of habit. The first one we'll talk about is the pramana. The pramana is the facts, the knowledge. This is things that you can see, things that have been inferred. Let's say, for an example, the gas pump, putting gas in your car. The inference that there is that there's actually gas going in your car. You might not see the stream of gas, but you know it's going in your car. Or someone who's super reliable has told you something for you to believe. Now, this sounds super easy, like we got this. This one's no-brainer. You know, it's something I've seen, something that's been inferred, or a very reliable source has given me the knowledge. I want to caution you. Again, as women of our age, we have been invited to take a lot of things in life at face value. I wanted to give an example of a group of 900 people depended on a reliable source, and that is Jim Jones. If you remember, back in the 70s, that was the Jonestown massacre. They all believed him. They all drank the Kool-Aid, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. There are times that you can't follow people blindly. And again, as middle-aged women, we are definitely waking up to this. I think our Gen Zers have woke up to this quicker than we have. But that is just one way that we can distort and influence our minds. The next one is viparyayo. And that's the misconception that occurs when knowledge is not based on its true form. Misconception. How many times do we have conversations with somebody and they either misunderstood us or we didn't quite follow what was being said? We got a distorted idea of what the conversation was. And then we run that through our brain. And so, as you can see, there's a lot of areas that we can really change what's going on in the mind. The third mind modification is vikalpa, which is verbal delusion. And verbal delusion is when someone tells you a story without proof. You absorb it, you acknowledge it, you take it in, you believe it, and then that processes through your mind. So verbal delusion can be a couple of different things. Someone could tell you a story. You could hear a news report, you could hear something on the radio, and maybe you processed it improperly, or maybe they told it improperly. It reminds me so much of the grapevine game that we played as children, where you'd whisper in each other's ear, and that can very quickly become a verbal delusion. So with those top three, in today's society, all three of those are really prevalent in social media. So many people put out things that we have to do a lot of inferences on. There's some verbal delusion. There's definitely some misconceptions of things. And when we take everything on face value, we're definitely doing some modification to our mind. So just think of that the next time you're on social media and you're scrolling through, and we'll talk on another video what that means with your menopause. But anyway, so we still have two more. And the next one is nirodhah. And nirodhah is sleep. This one reminds me of a storybook I read back in the day. And I don't remember if it was Wrinkle in Time. I think it was Wrinkle in Time. I'm not sure. But it was a book that basically said that when you leave your house and go somewhere else, does your house still stay there? When I read that book, I was probably in 5th grade, 6th grade, and I was so overwhelmed by that book. I went to my mom. I was like, oh my God, is the home here when I'm not here? Yeah, I really went into it. So it's very similar with nirodhah. So nirodhah, if you come out of nirodhah, which is sleep, and you say, I had a great sleep, that is a modification of your mind, because if you really and truly had a great sleep, you wouldn't remember that you slept. So everything we do in life really can modify our minds. That one, again, is another one that takes a little minute to wrap your mind around, but think about that one. The next one is smarty. And I think that's so funny because it just reminds me of that smart ass again. But smarty and that's memory. And memory can be daydreams and night dreams. So memories can come up at any time in your life, in your day, with nudging or just out of the blue. And when those memories come up, they are a recount of how that situation happened to you. Is that exactly how it took place? Maybe somewhere in your mind modification, it's been distorted. How many times do you sit with your mother or an elderly relative and they tell you a story, or you tell them a story when you were a child and they say, that's not how that happened? So again, here we are, it's a memory thing. And, really to expand on that, perception is our reality. And that's really what these sutras are talking about, is because we can perceive things positive and joyful, or we can perceive things negative, and it might be the exact same experience. So when you've got all this stuff going on in your minds, you're processing through 3 levels, you have 5 ways to distort it, what do we do to find that peace that we were looking for when we started? And in addition to that, offer selfless love, not being selfish unless it's looking for peace. Don't forget, this is a journey. What now do we need to do according to the sutras to make this happen? And really, the big piece of it is non-attachment. Living your life, living your work, working for what you want, but not being attached to what the outcome is going to be. i.e., yes, we want to make money, but maybe we're going to make money selling widgets rather than being a real estate agent. So when you're thinking about non-attachment, I wanted to give you some ideas of what someone who is highly attached may feel. And it's going to be very interesting because a lot of these are similar symptoms to menopause. Yes, a lot of things that happen with menopause are hormonal. A big chunk of it is cortisol related. And I've got lots of videos on ways to manage your cortisol, which I feel like in turn would help you with your peace. The traits of attachment, feeling in distress, feeling despair, depression, anxiety, feeling alone, noticing that you're breathing very shallow, feeling that your body is just jittery or stressed out. These are a few of the symptoms of attachment, completely opposite to peace, which is what we're going for. So how do we get there? The movement of the body that people know as yoga is actually a way of preparing your mind for non-attachment. Couple that with things such as rest, a healthy vegetable forward diet, the people that you hang around with, keeping your mind from being dull or disinterested. And then a really big one to prepare your mind is to really start to focus on singular things. So many times we carry a badge of honor. We've got our to-do list. We're juggling this. We're juggling that. We're so proud of ourselves. And we're really robbing ourselves of peace. When you can focus on one thing, then you go deep. You go quick. Your mind is focused. You can complete whatever that item is in a timely manner. Even science is coming out and saying that you're more productive when you focus on one thing at a time. So by coupling all of these things together, it gives your mind an opportunity to go into meditation. And this is a time that allows for stillness, allows your mind to be without us modifying it with our smart ass and our dumb ass. As you find yourself journeying through meditation, know that you have found true yoga. Yoga is truly the calming of the chatter in your mind. I wish you peace. I wish you joy. I wish you a calm mind. If this content is something that you love, like and follow for more. And if you think you know someone who could use this content, please share. Thank you so much.